Hello, welcome back. In this video we are going to finish up this helmet. All I've done so far is taken off the printer and glued it together and welded it together with a 3D pen and then put on a small coat of XTC 3D. And after that I will continue to show you the steps to get this to the final product. One note is that when printing this file from Thingiverse, there is a weird gap right along this top brow. And so I just filled it in and sanded it. So with the 3D pen. Now I'm going to go back over just a little bit of sand. I'm probably going to go to lower grits, so it's going to be a little rougher. And then back up to higher grits, and then I'll hit it with spray paint. I sped this part up because I think sanding is really boring. The process is starting at a low grit, spray painting, and then going to higher grits until you're happy. The only extra thing I did was I filled a crack with micro balloons and XTC, and then you just sand like normal. But by all means, please enjoy the effort of this time lapse because it took quite a lot of time. Months, actually. Yeah. I think sanding is done. I don't really want to do it anymore. You see the front, those holes are gone. And let's look at the top. No scratches, no egregious scratches. I mean, there's some. You can see the four corners here, but it's not too bad. There's like a little hole. For the amount of effort it takes to go sand and then go spray paint, I'd rather do something else. So it is time to strengthen the helmet. I've prepped strips and correspondence to some seams that I want to cover. I think the work time is like 45 minutes. I don't have a tripod, so you'll just see the end result, but I'll explain what I did. Make sure you wear gloves, and if you have long hair, tie your hair up. Okay. I finished resin. I used strips, and it worked, somewhat well. It's hard. And it's different colors because I messed up once. Okay, so the story is I used the fast hardener and it was really fast. I didn't get much time and it started crackling in the plate I was using and instantly hardened, so I didn't get that much to use. So I used the slow hardener and it was a lot clearer. And I have these big strips and then the little strips underneath. And then some on the front right there. Now, I think it's time to make it fit my head. And then I can paint. And that's it. So I've just been taping in foam and putting it on, seeing how it feels. So this is pretty good. Lots of random pieces that were available around the house, and I just duct tape them in. So that's not a very permanent solution. I will, instead of using epoxy resin, I will be using super glue just because I don't want to hold it for however long it takes for it to cure. I'll just do it pretty fast, and if it ever pops out, I could just super glue it back in. Now, since the base is pretty much done, I'm going to rough it up because I want it to look pretty warm and weathered. So I'm going to add scratches with just these files. It's going to show color through again, so I'll probably have to do another black spray paint. Here are some scratches. Not a lot. I accidentally stabbed myself in the hand, but I will switch over to the Dremel to give some shallow divots. I've you know, as if it was metal. Like pitting, and it's also to hide like the seams in between the parts. Like that was a big issue, and now it's scratches, so it's hidden. So I'll show you the pitting. Here's the weathering that I did. I had lots of little pits, just mainly like rust and decay of the metal, and I added a lot more scratches. It doesn't look terribly great right now, but maybe it will look better with that last coat of black. I just spray painted. The idea behind spray painting after all the wear and tear was placed is that some of the scratches, if this were real, wouldn't get past the paint layer. They'd just kind of be on top, and it just gives it a nice base so that it's not the random print colors on the bottom. And as you can see, I made a big mess on myself. But now the next step would be, I don't know. The next step is going to be probably making this look more metal, variations of metal splatters on it. And then we get to detailing these giant cuts. Like that will probably show some silver underneath. I moved to the garage so I could spray paint and ran into some issues. I accidentally used gloss and made it really shiny, and then I tried to combat it with some satin, and it was a big mess. I ran into issues with my airbrush. That's out of commission right now. So what I'm doing is I'm taking a brush and some paint and flicking it with my finger to get these little spattered effects. I don't know how it'll turn out, but I'm using a lot of water, so once it dries it'll look pretty blended. And that's what I'm doing right now. Next will be putting in fine detail on the scratches. I was spray painting and came across some problems. Basically, long story short, I accidentally sprayed a gloss on it and spent many coats trying to get it back to a satin. And what turned out is I put so much satin on, it has this really cool kind of grainy effect, and it looks cool, so I'll just go with it. I was trying to put little flecks of like silvery stuff on, but instead I got this texture effect. So I'll just go with that. I'm not going to try to airbrush anymore. It broke, so can't do it anyway. I'm going to put silver in the cracks and weather it with colors. So what I'm doing is I take the different wear colors. Like on the front, I've used a little bit of brown. It's very hard to see in the light. Yeah, near the jaw. And now on the top, I am dotting it with like a light gray, just to break up the deep black. I don't think I'm going to do too much wear. I'm going to probably finish the wear everywhere and then go through and do the scratches. So basically what I'm doing is get my brush very wet, dip it in the color, and then just like messily putting it on. This is a throwaway brush, so I don't really care. Oh, you can't even see. So it's like that. You basically paint as if you were a child, just like a toddler, and then you just dab, and you let like the texture of this cloth pick it up wherever it can, and it'll leave you with these little dots. And then you just keep going. So you just keep having these little dots everywhere. I finished the scrapes painting, and I also added like some little red for rust on these little dimple areas, because I noticed some old metal helmets. Hey. Oh, I added red on these little dimples because I noticed in old military helmets that is how they looked. Because, you know, they're old and they get wet and you don't really take care of them all the same. So I think it looks good. And now I have taped every little section in the area that will get silver. And then I'll put a bag over everything else. And then spray paint it chrome. I was testing like painting and not doing the tape, but I don't think it would have come out as clean, or, you know, it would just take lots of layers to get the same type of shine that spray paint does. So I think this will be better, and I can do so many more coats so much more faster to get that shine, rather than painting and then messing up the lines and, you know, just being a big disaster. It's all covered now. I put masking tape over the small areas and then just a Target bag over the larger areas. Pretty much completely sealed. I even have a little flap just for the inside. And then it's time to spray paint it chrome. Hopefully the masking tape does well, but I have no idea. Kaboom! Now I'm trying to put in the visor cloth. I mean, you could do plastic, but I think this is fine. This is what it looks like so far. Looks pretty good. All I'm doing is, I have this from a previous video. It's like one of those latex. It's one of those stretchy suits that cover your head. And this is just a piece from the chest. And I'm just laying it in there and using E6000 to glue it in. I don't know what that glue really does. And I'm just testing it out in here. I don't know. So the mask is pretty much done. The inside worked well with the E6000, which I will probably use a ton on the edges just to make sure it never comes off, because it's a little bit flappy right now. And it's, you know, looking finished, except there's one last step and then it'll be truly finished. I will clean up the edges of the silver that the mask kind of let go over the lines, and then this is done. Complete. This took a very long, whoa. It'll be complete and I'll be happy to move on to the next project. So this is finally done. This is complete. The mesh over the eyes looks really good. Pretty even. Slight issue in between the nose, but you know, if I'm just passing by, it doesn't look too bad. Nicks look good. The color of the black is somewhat dispersed. I try to break up, you know, the colors. There's lots of good wear. There's lots of damage. Everything on the outside looks really good. I'm happy. I think this is, you know, enough to put it on my shelf and say done. Because I think I've been working on this for like a year. It's a long time. And then the inside just looks all messed up. I trimmed the fabric. Yeah, so this is done. I'll show me wearing this, and then this is going on my shelf. So it fits. Here, you can see too. Can you see? This is the view. It's not too bad. But you can see pretty clearly through the mesh. Okay, getting rid of this because I didn't make it. This is the shelf of things I've made, not things I've collected. Get out of here. Kabam. Look at this. Dedication to the craft, huh? Oh shit. I didn't mean to record, but now that I am, here's my Katie. You're being annoying, huh? Yeah. She doesn't want food. She just wants my attention. Hey, Kit Kat. She is camera shy.